Peace, 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 everyone. Evolve Benton here, the Speaking for Profit coach. Today, we are talking about the exact 4 steps my client used to go from $80,000 a year to $250,000 a year. If you're listening right now, just go on and put hashtag live in the comments. If you're listening in the near and dear future, go on and put hashtag replay. I'm excited that you're here and I'm excited to get into today's conversation. Let's send a quick message. All right. So the reason I wanted to have this conversation with you today is because what I find to be so powerful about people who actually are able to build successful and profitable businesses is really tapping into strategy. So today is going to not be a day where I put up slides and we go into the nitty gritty. We're really going to talk about the strategy behind becoming a six-figure speaker and some of the work that you need to do in order to really be able to build that. So the other thing I want to share with you is that we have these amazing live trainings at least once a week, every week. I usually try to do them on Wednesdays at this time. So if you're interested in making sure that you stay on our list and that you get access to these trainings, go on and text the word speak to 323-405-9492 for more free opportunities to be able to work with us and to be able to learn from us, right? Because speaking for profit for me has been really the foundation of it has been the 3 C's of success, which are coaching, community, and our curriculum, right? So for you, even though you're not a part of our community traditionally, you're a part of my community. And even though you're not getting coaching on a regular basis, you're getting coaching every week. And this is a part of our curriculum. So let's talk a little bit about what it takes to get to bigger bags, right? Because that's really what we're talking about today. Before we go into that conversation, I always want to share some wins with you. So I'm going to share a personal win with you, and then I also will share some more client wins with you. So a personal win for me is that I had the opportunity to travel to Denver with my beautiful wife and enjoy a paid opportunity that she actually got through some organization that she's working with. But what was so cool about it is I have some clients who are actually in Denver, and I got to sit down and do lunch with them. And as a coach who primarily I run my business and I meet with people virtually, it was really cool to be able to meet with people in space and to have conversation with them. So cool to be able to do a dinner with my clients. And that's my win, right? Really being able to hold space, spend time with them, have this conversation with them, and really be able to build community in that way. And I honestly believe that more people are going to start to do things in person and start to build community in person now that not the pandemic is over. I know that people are still getting COVID, but that people feel safer traveling and going outside and really being in spaces where they can build community with one another. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm looking forward to doing more of those. So that's one win that I want to share. And then the other win that I'll share with you is actually a client win. A client of mine is doing some really amazing work and has had the opportunity to launch their own digital product. So one of the things that we do with clients who are on year 2 or on the second half of their year-long program with us is that we will support people with building out their own digital product. So one of my clients launched theirs. It's called New Cycles. And it's really cool because it is a course and a program that's going to help people be better community members and better communicators. So I'm really excited for my client. They were able to not only launch this program, but they sold it out, right? Which is really a good feeling when you do launch a digital product. And it was a lot of work, a lot of labor of love that went into it, but they stayed with it, they stayed committed, and they really made it happen. So shouts out to my client for doing that. So I just wanted to share that with y'all because we always want to share and start off with wins. I think wins gets us into a really good momentum to really be able to start to talk about making more money, right? Which is what we're on today's training and having this conversation for. So, if you resonate with that, right, that when you talk about winning and when you talk about abundance, it allows you to win more, just go on and put the word abundant into the comments. Because I do believe that while strategy is important, I do believe personally, right, that even beyond strategy is really being willing to um, tap into your own mindset around money and have a conversation with yourself about your value and how you deserve more and really step into that. So I hope that you all are able to do that and that that's a part of your practice, that you're not just taking in information from YouTube or any of these other places, that you're really intentionally tapping into mindset driven work and purpose driven work, which will really allow you to not only be a better speaker, a better coach, a better consultant, but to just have better energy about around it. Because the real thing is this, y'all, like, um the work is hard, the work is challenging, and I want you to know that it's going to be good and it's going to be bad days, right? You're going to have days where you do really really well, and you're gonna have days where you don't do that well, right? And you have to be able to have kind of like an even kill. I love how oftentimes athletes will say, I don't get too high or too low. So they don't get really excited about wins. They don't get really down about losses because they understand that it's a part of the process. And I think as entrepreneurs, we need to tap into that energy a little bit more as well, right? It's a part of the process. It's not something that is going to change. It's not something that is going to move and groove. It's going to be a part of it. You're going to win sometime. You're going to lose sometime. You're going to feel like a failure, and everyone else is going to see you as a winner. And you just have to kind of sit within some of that. And I hope that you're able to sit with that. So let's get into strategy. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to bring up some notes. So just give me one moment. And then we are going to get into talking about the 4 ways that my client has been able to secure the bag and pretty much like triple their income in the last year. And I'm just going to give you some of the steps that they took because I think that that's important for you to consider for your own business. And then we can jump into a quick Q&A and see if there's any questions that you might have about it. So almost there. Just one moment. Also, while I'm pulling up these notes, just tell me, where are you tuning in from? Where location? What part of the world are you tuning in from? See if I see any of that in the chat. I don't see anything coming through yet. All right. So tell me about that. So let's talk a little bit about 4 strategies, right? And I'm going to list the strategies for you first, and then I'm going to go through each of them so you can get a little bit more of that detail. So the first strategy that my client utilized was coaching, right? Being able to hire a coach, I think, was definitely one of the reasons why they were successful in moving from $80,000 to $250,000 in a year. Was definitely being intentional about. I hope I'm still. Yeah, my mouse done died on me. Okay. All right. So we'll just stick with that. So really being intentional about coaching, right? So that's one of the first things. The second thing that my client did was sticking to what we call our business standards, and I'll talk to you all a little bit about that today. The third thing that they did was that they went up on their price, right? So they decided to charge more, which I think is always responsible when you are knowing your expertise. And then the fourth thing that they were able to do is really commit, right? Commitment is so important when we're talking about building out a speaking or consulting business. So let's talk a little bit about those 4 steps. So when I started working with this client in particular, it's so funny because this client was actually a client. I was actually one of their clients, right? And they ended up coming to me because they seen how well I was doing in business. And I ended up going to them because I seen how amazing that they were doing at their own like physical and mental health practices, right? So we had an opportunity to kind of barter each other's services, which was really great. But although they had a business for years and they had really been doing a good job in their business, they weren't seeing a lot of success and growth. They were really stagnant. And their goal was to be able to do this full time. Right. And how many of us have started like a side gig, right? You start a side gig, it's going well, but you want to be able to do it full time and you don't feel like you have capacity to build it out. So, what we had to do first to really get them to believe in being able to make this much is to clear some of the clutter. And that's some of the work that we did around coaching. Because what often happens is when you're not in coaching, and I'm going to tell y'all this right now, I'm a coach that is coached. I have coaches that I invest in all the time. So I'm not one who is sitting up here telling you to invest in coaching and I don't do it. I do it because I believe in it. And I realize that what we're doing in this world, especially as speakers and consultants, one, we're superheroes because we're using a skill that a lot of people are scared to use. But two, we are showing up in the world and asking for more. And that gets scary. You need someone to not only hold your hand, but to tell you it's okay for you to charge more, for you to feel confident in that, right? You need that person, that sounding board. So they invested in coaching with me, right? And my team. And I know that that helped them get to this level because there were so many opportunities that came up for them where they wanted to charge less. And we reminded them of the one key thing that we talk about within Speaking for Profit coaching, which is their money back prophecy. So everyone who starts working with us, we have you create literally what is your money that you want to make in the next year, not your goal, not replacing your job's income, but money that allows you to thrive. I'm a coach that believes in easeful abundance. If you believe in easeful abundance, put abundance into the comments. So I want you to be able to achieve your goals without feeling burnt out and feeling tired. And, so I'm not the coach that's going to say speak 100 times. I'm the coach that's going to say, how can we do this 10 times? And what do we need to charge for it? How do we build an offer that actually is worth that much instead of us saying we're going to speak to people 150 times a year, right? So the first thing that they did was they invested in coaching. They invested in a coach. They said, I'm going to get a coach and I'm going to get someone to support me, right? The second thing that my client did, right, is after they invested in coaching, they're working with us, is that they invested their time and energy into business standards. So many of us don't have standards around our business. We're just kind of taking things in. We're buying trainings. We're doing what we think we see on social media. It's funny. I just had a call with a client right now, my client who sold out their program. And they were like, I sold out my program because of all of the back end things that you taught me to do, not a lot of the front end things. Right. So for you in particular, do you have business standards? Standards are things that you're going to do every day in your business, no matter what, because you understand that those micro habits, will lead you to bigger opportunity, right? So we understand that if we're telling someone new about our business every day, someone eventually is going to want to buy from us, right? Because we're building the traction, we're building the traffic. We understand that if we promote on social media, eventually someone's going to find us. We understand that if we get on phone calls, on discovery calls with people, eventually one of those calls are going to be a contract. And if we turn in enough proposals to people, eventually we'll get paid, right? So for us, within our business standards, within Speaking for Profit, we have our 5-3-1 model. 5 pieces of content that you're putting out that are amazing, 3 conversations that you're being on with decision makers, and at least putting out 1 proposal or booking 1 contract. So the client that I had that was able to do this, they were doing their business standards. They're still doing their business standards. They're consistent on social media. They post every day. Every week they do a Wellness Wednesday type of event, right? They have consistency within their branding. I'm sure they have email marketing going on at this point. They're always on calls with decision makers, except for when they're booked and busy and they're booking consistent contracts. So for you, if you are trying to build your speaking and consulting business, are you falling short of your standards? And if you are falling short of your standards, why is that? For my client, I think that they were able to tap into it because they had a community to support them, right? Within Speaking for Profit. So they got to see other people around them committing to those standards as well. And what we know is that people commit to standards more often when they're in a group, which is why I have a group program and I don't have a one-on-one coaching program. I don't have that, right? I don't feel that that's needed because most of the people that I work with, they need that community support. Being a speaker and consultant can be a really lonely business, y'all. It could be really lonely. Like, you don't have a lot of people, especially if you're doing something around DEI or, conversations that are being targeted right now. It could be a struggle. So having community is important. So first thing was coaching. Second thing was community, right? First thing was coaching. Second thing was community. Now, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, go on and put the word love into the comments so I can know you're still here with me. And the other thing is that I do want to, pause for a moment to just tell you if you're enjoying today's training is more of a mindset training. So definitely take notes, but I want you to really think about yourself and do some deeper development. This might even be more of a journaling session for you to tap into. But I want to tell you that on September 25th, which is coming up, in a couple of weeks, we're going to do a 5-day challenge where I'm going to literally take you all through 5 days of training and development to book 5-figure speaking and consulting contracts, where I'm going to not only break down the mindset, but the literal strategies that you need to utilize to get to the bag. So if you want to come through to that and you're interested in it, right? And you're like, yes, Evolve, I would love to come through the challenge. It's 5 days. Every day you're going to get an hour of training. There's going to be an opportunity for you to implement, and then there's going to be prizes at the end because I love a good prize. We also have a VIP opportunity where you can get 5 hours of coaching from me for that week, right? So if that interests you, go on and put the word five into the comments, and we'll be sure to send you an invitation to that. It's a limited amount of folks who are inviting in, but I would love for you to be there so you can take a deeper dive into these opportunities. So put the word five into the comments if you're interested in the 5-day challenge that we'll be having starting on September 25th. So we just reviewed the two, right? We just reviewed the two. Enjoying this presentation will make a great podcast topic. Oh, love that. It would definitely. And I do have a podcast. So shameless plug. If you're not watching this on YouTube, head over to YouTube under Speaking for Profit University. You will see us going live as well. We put out weekly content, not only live trainings, but also live episodes where we talk more in depth about some of these experiences. And we also do interviews with folks. So those are the first two ways, right? My clients committed to coaching and also committed to business standards. The third thing that my client did, right, to be able to move from making 80K a year as a social worker and then making 250K is really like as a wellness practitioner, working with organizations like Indeed and Facebook. Now they're working with people like the CDC, is that they really committed to going up in their price. And a lot of people think that committing to going up in your price is about just saying it, right? It's like, okay, no, I'm not going to say $500 on a call anymore. I'm going to say $5,000 on a call. But it's really not that easy. It's not just about you speaking the price, it's about you building out an offer that reflects that pricing. So, what we really have to do as speakers and consultants when we want to charge 5 figures or we want to charge 10 figures is we have to do more research into our field to figure out how to provide solutions to problems that cost that much. Because some problems are a little bit easier for organizations to fix. Other problems, they need more of a process. They need you to come in more than one time. They need you to really build out strategy. They need you to build out a new curriculum. They need you to build out an external plan. All of these things cost more money. So if you take a deep dive into the industry that you want to serve, right? And there's various industries, right? We got K through 12, we got higher education, we've got corporate, we've got faith-based organizations, we've got societies, like maybe you're a psychologist and it's the psychology of psychology, right? Like there's so many different ways that you can take this. but you have to take a deep dive into being a problem solver and have a solution that is worth that price. Because what often happens is that people just think that they can get away with charging a lot, but not giving a lot of value. And I'm not that coach, and I do not want you to be that type of facilitator of space. I don't want you to be that type of speaker or consultant. If you're going to charge more, you need to give more. And giving more does not mean giving more time, but it does mean giving more strategy and more depth and more research into how you're solving the problem. Now, what I love that happens often, folks, is that you'll go into an organization that's so far behind that your simple solving problems will impress them enough where they'll pay you, right? So imagine me, right? Like I do a lot of work around supporting folks who are trying to make their organizations more LGBT inclusive. If an organization hasn't thought about pronouns or thought about gender inclusive restrooms and some of the things that I consider very much the foundational things that you can do to support LGBTQ plus folks in the workplace, of course, if I go in there and I have that conversation, they're going to want to pay that money, right? Because they don't really, their gap of the problem is so much thicker, right? So if we're not going to go up on our value, then we have to find a gap within the industry where organizations are like, you know what? I really need this support and we haven't started this yet. So you have to find people who are at the beginning of the roadmap and impress them with something that's a little bit more 2.0. Going up in your price is more than just saying a price. It's doing a little bit more work and a little bit more research. Now, people often tell me that they feel like consultants get paid more than speakers. If you feel like consultants get paid more than speakers, put the word consultant into the comments, right? If you feel like consultants get paid more than speakers, I do too. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think consulting is more of a bag. It's more of an opportunity. It's also more labor. So if you're thinking to yourself, you know what, Evolve, I don't really want to consult. I'm not trying to facilitate space. I'm not trying to do training. I'm trying to do speaking. In order to be a speaker that gets paid that much, you've got to tap into your credibility. You got to tap into your celebrity, right? So what you'll see is a lot of speakers who are getting paid more to go speak and do keynotes and those type of opportunities, they have a book, they have a podcast, they have media, right? That's driving traction and traffic to their credibility so that people want to hear their story and want to hear them speak. When you have a book where it's about your life, then people want to hear about that book more. When you have a podcast that's about your journey, people want to hear that more. So if you're doubling down and really wanting to get paid more to speak, what I would suggest for you is that you invest more in your credibility. If you want to double down and get paid more as a consultant, then you're going to have to invest more in your research and finding a gap in a problem that you're going to solve. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, if what what I'm speaking about is making sense, just go on and put the word speak into the comments, right? Because for you, I want you to know that it's really about your mindset. It's not about your labor, it's not about your time, it's about your mindset and you really taking the time to think about the employer, the organization, the people who are going to pay you. Cuz they ain't going to just pay you just to show up. You got to be bringing some kind of value. And I think a lot of us have got that confused. We think that we could just go in and we should just be paid. And that's not what this business is. This is not a passive business. This is an active business. You need to be in action. If you're not in action, then it's not going to be moving. And there's action happening all the time, right? So you can build your credibility. So we talked about the first three, right? What my client utilized to go from 80,000 to 250K in a year from public speaking. One, coaching. Two, sticking to business standards. Three, going up on their price, which mean, right, over delivering on the actual product. And then the last thing was commitment. Commitment to the process. To all of the things that we just talked about, commitment. And what I mean by that is you really have to tap into your integrity with yourself. If you're starting your speaking or consulting business with the hope to get paid really quickly and then not do it ever again. This is not the business for you. This is a business that I tell my clients you're building that you can rely on bringing in a passive amount of income. What I mean by passive is maybe it's not as active as your 9 to 5, right? You bring in a side gig or a full time gig for the next 5 to 10 years. That's what kind of career we're building when we're building a speaking consulting business. So, some of you get into this business wanting quick results. And then when the results don't happen, you give up. And when you give up, that's right when that client was about to call you to say they wanted you to speak. That was before you were about to get on a call that was going to be one of the biggest contracts. That was before you were going to land that TED talk because you're not committed. When you're committed to the wins and you're committed to the failure. You're committed to making money sometimes and not making money sometimes. You're committed to marketing your business even when people aren't liking it. You're committed to showing up to the speaking engagement even when the client gets on your damn nerves. So commitment is really what pushed this client over. They were committed to their I help statement, to their mission, right? They're like, "Okay, I want to help organizations with their well-being practices, and I know if I help them with their well-being practices, people who I know who want to be employees are going to have a better place to work in." So you have to have a mission and a purpose and a commitment in order to do this work to stay in it. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm gonna be in it for a while. I'm gonna be doing it. I'm gonna be grooving. I'm gonna be coaching. I'm gonna be YouTubing. Y'all gonna be seeing me go live because I'm committed. I'm committed to helping diversify the speaking and consulting industry. It's my commitment. I didn't sign up for 1 year. I didn't sign up for 2 years. It's probably like a 5 to 10 year opportunity for me to really influx this industry with as many of us as possible. So I understand that some days it's going to go really well and I'm going to have really big wins. And I understand that some days it's going to feel really lonely and it's going to be really low. I'm going to have clients that are bothering me and getting on my nerves, right? Whatever may happen. Either way it goes, I'm in it and I'm committed. So my client was able to commit because they knew that they had impact and they had a vision and they had a mission and a purpose. So remember I told you about the 5-day challenge not that long ago, right? We're going to be doing this 5-day challenge. That's my goal for the 5-day challenge. If anybody walks away from there, I want them to, of course, have the strategies to book 5-figure speaking opportunities, which the strategies are great. But if you have strategies that you're not willing to implement and commit, it doesn't really mean anything. You just got another course that you have in your inbox or another YouTube video that you have saved that you might watch, but it's not going to move anything. So that 5-day challenge is built out so that people commit, transform their lives, and get into action and commit to it. If you're a person who wants to commit and you want to be there, go on and put commit into the comments. If you want to be at the challenge, right? If you want to commit to your business, if you want to stop talking to your friends and family about being a speaker and consultant, about when you're going to launch your business, about you're going to do it in 2024, or, maybe not 2024 because we're in a recession. So I'm going to do it in 2025. I'm going to do it in 6 months. How long do your clients have to wait for you to get it together? There are clients on the other side of this work waiting for you to show up for them and to do your work. They're waiting for you to create that LGBT training. They're waiting for you to create that training on anti-racism. They're waiting for you to speak about whatever you've made it through at their college graduation. They're waiting for your speech. And what you're sitting up here doing is not committing to it because one strategy didn't work in a week. So the last step that my client took to really be able to build this abundant business is that he committed. He committed to all of the business, not just the wins, not just the money. He committed to the failures, to the stress. He committed to implementing even when he didn't feel like it. This is a serious thing, y'all. We can't keep saying what we're going to do and never do it. We're not going to be here forever. Knock on wood, because I don't want to go nowhere no time soon. I'm going to be honest with y'all. And yes, I'm Black, so I do believe in that. If you knock on wood, it erases all of it. It erases anything negative. You just knock on some wood, you'll be okay. But we do not want to continue to sit around and dream when we can manifest it right in front of us. So the four things, right? Remember we talked about the four steps that my client took to go from $80,000 was a social worker and move to 250K. Let's go through those one more time. One, coaching. And I don't have to be your coach, but who's going to be your coach? Who's going to hold your hand? Who's going to ride it out with you when you're up and down, right? They committed to coaching. That's number one. Number two, business standards. What are you going to do every day in your business to make sure it's growing and not complain about the social media logarithm or this person or that person? Not complain, but get into action, implement business standards. Number three, going up on your price, but having integrity with it. We can't continue to charge $500. We're not going to get anywhere with that. We've got to charge more. That means we have to show up and we have to show out. And then number four, commitment. When are you going to commit to your calling? When are you going to commit to your calling? Right? They committed. So I hope this has been helpful, right? Like I didn't expect to have what my grandma used to say, a coming to Jesus moment with you, but I think that as the ancestors speak through me, which is beautiful, there's someone here who needed to hear that. You've been sitting on this for long enough, and it's time for you to make it happen. Yes, that's a word right there. Folks on the other side of this are waiting for those gifts to manifest. They are. They literally are waiting for the gifts to manifest. And I remember y'all before I started speaking for profit, I was scared to start this business because I knew that I had a big mission. I was scared. I was honestly terrified because I know how people would look at me like, who am I to say that I want to influx the speaking industry? Who am I to say that I want to get LGBT, Black, brown, trans folks paid? Who am I? Right. So I started feeling really nervous about it. And that's when I knew that I had to do it. So if you have something that you're scared of or you're fearful of, you got to tap into it. That's the only way that you're going to get free. Right. And freedom is financial, but the mindset is so much more. Right. I was talking to a client today and they were like, Evolve, thank you for helping me build out my digital product because now I don't have to rely on organizations to pay me. I have a product I can put out there and I can make money and I can have easeful abundance. Now they're still speaking and consulting, don't get me wrong, but they don't have to rely on that. They have another stream of income. So even if for you, you love your 9 to 5, how long you want to be there? When you want to be financially free, when you want to retire, when you want to really live in the essence of your joy and your easefulness. This is a business that can do that for you. I see people every day getting 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, $40,000 contracts because they're able to tap in and commit. And I want that for you. Now, commitment looks different for different people. Maybe you want to do this part-time. Some people want to do it full-time. Some people want to make $1,000,000. Some people will be happy with 20,000. So whatever you want, you've got to commit to getting there. And that's what I hope to do with you all at the 5 days to 5-figure speaking gigs challenge that's happening September 25th through, I believe, the 29th or 30th. I don't know how 5 days rolls there. Yeah, 25th through the 30th. So if you want to come through, learn more from me, learn more about the actual strategies. We'll do some mindset work as well and commit. Going to put the word 5 into the comments and I will send you that information. So before I go, any questions that anyone has, I have a few more minutes. I'm also going to share this again because I want folks to know if they do want to be connected to these trainings on a more regular basis. I do free trainings every week as of now, as this video is being recorded. And I will send you out a message when I'm going live to let you know. All you have to do is text the word speak to 323-405-9492, and you'll get access to the free trainings when I go live and have an opportunity to tap into that. But are there any questions or any thoughts that folks have? And if not, I'm going to head out, grab some lunch. And I just really appreciate y'all being here, right? Like being here, being willing to be a part of this conversation, being willing to tap into your greatness, showing up is one step of it. and really learning these key mindset steps that you're going to need to be able to build a profitable business. It's not easy, but it doesn't have to be hard if we really tap into coaching, community, business standards, if we really commit. And most of you, I'm going to tell you this right now, the majority of you need to go up in your price and you need to do a deeper dive into researching your actual industry. There's so many people that come to me and they say, I want to speak and consult, and you don't have a lot of experience in the topics that you want to speak about. That's why you feel like a fraud. That's why you feel like you scamming. That's why you don't feel comfortable charging more because you're not speaking in integrity. You going out here trying to speak about something because you think that it's popular and you need to tap into your mission and your purpose already. That's what you need to do. Tap into your mission and your purpose. Tap into the things that you already are good at. Something that you could wake up, I could wake you up in the morning, you could speak on it any day. It don't need to be something new that you think is popular. You need to tap into what you have integrity in, right? And I see one of my clients is right here, Spirit. Thanks, Eva. I'm working on my business standards now while I'm listening to you. I love that. Shouts out to Spirit. If y'all haven't connected with their work, please do. All right, y'all. Well, I don't see any questions coming in. I'm just going to go on and head out. Hope this training was helpful. Like I said, if you are interested in taking more of a deep dive with us and you would love to join the 5-day challenge, we're going to be hosting that on September 25th through the 30th. It's an opportunity for you to take a deep dive into the work that we're doing and also to commit to this business. So go on and put the word 5 into the comments if that is you. And until next week, I hope you all have an amazing one. Peace.